Hello everybody, Artis here with another Hearthstone video. Originally I've been thinking making this video as like in the form of top 10, but then I changed my mind because I don't think it's fitting. So it is basically its own thing, and there's this one thing, one idea which I have recently about Hearthstone, which can actually, I think it'd be really beneficial. It's something which I think Blizzard can do. So let me explain well, how this idea works. So basically, in the game right now, there is on very basic level two basic two type of rewards. You can be rewarded with gold or you can be rewarded with the arcane dust. Obviously, you can be also being rewarded with cards, but you probably like people who played Hearthstone for some time. They probably have most of the cards, so it's really unlikely. Like if you are rewarded by cards, then it's usually either like basic card or randomly generated card, and I think most people have most of these cards, so they probably turn them into dust anyway. But yeah, what my idea is about is basically having a third reward, and I have a name for it because I really um wasn't able came for something like original or creative. So for sake of keep things simple, I wanna call this encouragement points. And what this is basically here's the thing. Here's how this thing I imagine how this thing works. So in the game, there is lots of things which you can do. The problem here is because this is a game which is played by people. And people have this one amazing thing, which is called free will. You can do whatever you want to do. That's one of the biggest gifts which we humans have. Free will. The problem is, despite the fact people have a free wills, they sometimes do things which are not necessarily good because due to the fact you have a free will and you can do whatever you can do, whatever you decided to do, and it's not every time it's always good. So there people can do due to their free will things which can actually make game less enjoyable. And the idea of the system of encouragement points is basically something which exists the people kind of slightly messing with the free will because you cannot others anyone but you can encourage people, and this is basically what this system is about. So let me explain this one thing. So in one of my previous videos I basically said um I don't understand why. Let me actually demonstrate this. So at least we have something simple. For example, okay, I know. Here. Okay, that's probably be super easy. Let's do this. So basically, what I said in my videos, and I believe it was top 10 of calls
I must protect the wild. Your
in the
soul shall be
Hearthstone.
mine.
I basically said I don't understand why if you draw a card and why this card is
Legions I
basically destroyed.
command.
I said this rule has no reason to exist, and it is absolutely and completely unnecessary, and I hate it. Which is true, kinda, because here is the thing which I realized relatively recently. Let me reach that point where my deck is full. I have a nice demonstration
For
here.
Nazata.
My hand is
Okay,
full.
there it is. So yeah, I absolutely hate this rule, and I said it's absolutely unnecessary and it has no purpose. This is what I said, but I realized I am actually wrong. Because here is the thing. Here is the thing. In order to being able to play, obviously few conditions must be met. First, my computer must be turned on. That is really obvious. And same go for my opponent. But another thing is, uh, these two computers also need a one-third computer, and that is server. And for people who are not super technical and they don't know what server is, even I'm pretty sure there is most of the people who know, but there may be few who don't. Server is basically this really powerful computer, and servers are basically that one thing which basically let my computer and the computer of my enemy communicate. One thing which some people don't realize is these computers, these servers, are really powerful computers. They are very powerful, and this also means they are very expensive. And because they are very powerful, that also means they need a lot of electricity to use. And this electricity, somebody must pay the bills for that electricity which servers consume. And that somebody is Blizzard. Which means this is the reason why this rule exists. Because if I if my hand is full and I draw a card and cards simply don't be drawn, that basically mean the end of my match is delayed, and basically it's cost take more time before me and my opponents reach the point where basically we be affected by fatigue. Which means this rule basically exists for sake to speed up the game and make it faster. So I said this rule have no reason, and it has no reason to exist. This is what I said, and I was wrong, and I wanna apologize because that's was my bad. This is something which I simply didn't realize. But why I explaining all this? My point is, even if this rule actually serve a purpose, and I understand that purpose now, I still disagree with this rule because the fact is, this rule may be the reason why you can lose the game. Simply because sometimes there can be this one really powerful card which can turn a victory on your side. There is actually some specific decks which really heavily relying on this one card. Most noticeably, it's Cartoon deck, because Cartoon, it's really few powerful cards which are strong by themselves, and sometimes you can win even without summoning Cartoon. But imagine you are in a situation which I have right now, and I play like Cartoon decks, and I have all these cards here, and I'm waiting until Cartoon go in my hand, and once it does, then Khatoon basically be destroyed, which means I lose the most powerful card in my deck, and this is the reason why I can lose the game. Which means even if this rule of destroying my own cards actually serve a purpose. And I get this turn like this, and it's gone. And I lose my most powerful card. So I can understand why Blizzard did this, but I don't believe the way how they execute this is good. It's good for them from technical standpoint, but it's not good for us players. This is something which helped Blizzard but hurt us. So what's how else this can be done? So let me
You win.
go again here and let me talk more about my ideas. There is obviously a few um, different ways how this can be done. But what I'm trying to say, basically, this rule exists for sake the game don't take too much time. And if game play too much time, this is something which is not bad only for Blizzard. It's also bad for us players because keep in mind, my computer and probably your computer, they also consume electricity, which also costs you something. And on top of that, I don't wanna be stuck in a game which go like half an hour and don't get a result. You know those situations. Sometimes because game is really random and really luck based, and sometimes you get the cards which are enough to continue game, but not enough to win. Which means the match can take a really long time, but in the end you still lose. And as I said, games which take too much time, they are not good for Blizzard and they are not good for us. I wanna play. I wanna have a fun. I don't wanna be stuck in a game which take like 20 minutes. This is something which is not good. Not this is not how sounds fun to me. And this is still game, which means having fun is like the reason why these things even exist. And as I said, there is this one thing, this my idea, this encouragement points which can actually help. Basically, um, okay, still give me a sec. I still actually there's one more thing which I wanna do explain because there is actually another reason why this system should be implemented, and that is basically let me explain this. Let me explain this by this way. Um, yeah. So why I'm showing you this table because these recipes. So basically, um, one thing which I recently realized and which I find extremely frustrating. It's a fact. Basically, if you have those loading screens, and then you get all kinds of like tips and advices. And one of them was games deck always evolve or always improve or something like this, which makes me laugh really hard because games in indeed evolving, but not always, not by the long shot. Because basically how things work is a new adventure or expansion is released, and immediately after that, game is a state of instability where people basically have no idea how to play these new cards and they basically experiment, and this time period takes some time after new expansion is released, and after that like some stable strategies are established and people start to play very specific way, and this is the part which frustrating me, and that is basically 90% of people have no idea how to create their own decks, which is the reason why these recipes exist. Basically give players idea how to play. The problem which I can see with this, as I said, there is way too many people who have no idea how make their own decks. And you can tell because you can simply find out basically all people on Battle.net using these types of decks, and they play everyone almost same way. And I believe these recipes is one of the reasons what this exists. I know before this there was those sites where you can basically give advice how to make efficient deck. There's way too many people, but which going there, and the problem which I can see is the way like I have no fun like playing against people who just doing same things over and over again. Like this situation is actually so bad. If I start to play against glass, then I know what they do before game even start. Of course, there is few classes which doing this more than the others. I think one of the worst classes in terms of most stereotypical class, which is played almost exactly same time every time, is a mage. But to be perfectly honest, the priest is almost just as bad, and also hunter is almost as bad. I myself am really proud for my Hearthstone deck maker series, where I basically present to people like different idea, different way to play, and I'm showing it is possible. You can play different way and still having fun. But that doesn't matter. There is really few people who basically are take this as an inspiration, and they still play still same way. So overall, my point here is basically a the game's taking too long, and the way how Blizzard doing the solving this problem is, I think, good for them but bad for us players. And second, people basically playing same type of decks over and over again, which is not fun. It is really frustrating. And now finally we get in my idea of encouragement point. Basically, how encouragement points work, it's basically game rewarding you for doing certain things. Basically encourage you basically solve these problems. So let's say after you receive 1,000 of encouragement en- 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 encouragement points, then you can get your reward, which is, let's say, a classic deck. If you however collect 2,000, and you get also deck, but it's a deck which is randomly generated, so you can do whispers. You can still get classic, but you can also get grand tournament, or perhaps even some old decks which are no longer in the games, such as gnomes and goblins. Or you can wait and get 4,000 encouragement points, where you can basically get one deck of your choice. And now it's question, why doing this so complicated? Why encouragement point? Because basically I want to give players a motivations which basically change their behavior and act the way which make game more fluid and more fun. So first how this work is, as I said before, games which take too long are not good. Not for us players, not for Blizzard. So basically, if player play his cards really fast, and I know there is actually some people who purposely wait to play their turn, basically like being annoying and being like jerks to other player just to make them pissed. They purposely playing for long, or some people who just unable to do fast decision. Basically, this player encourage play fast. So if you play your card really quickly, let's say in 5 seconds, then you are rewarded by a small amount of encouragement point. Let's say let's say 10 encouragement points. That isn't too much because, as I said before, um, you need 1,000 for like basic reward, okay? And which means basically, if the system exists, then this mechanism basically encourage people, like give them the reason play faster. People who basically play faster and make game more fluid are rewarded. The reward is not like super ridiculously big, which is the reason why I set such a high number, such as 1,000, because it's take you time. But at the same time, you are rewarded for each individual card. Think about it. If you need like, let's say, half of you, or you play like, I don't know, like 10 or 20 cards, and you all play them fast, then you get like about 200 points in a single game, which means you have like five, you win basically five games this way. And regardless if you win or lose, you have like 1,000 points, and you get a deck, which is one classic pack, which is basically more than you get with gold. Although gold is give you like option of they'll buy a pack which you want, but this is the reason why there is these higher tiers of reward. So basically, this is something which gives people a reason to play faster and make game more fluid and more fun without like waiting way too long. Basically, it's give people a reason to play faster and being rewarded for doing so. And I think this is something which can very improve the game because honestly, I really don't. I like Hearthstone and I having lots of fun, but I'm so tired with matches which take forever and in the end you still lose. That feels like absolute waste of time. So if I get a terrible card and I'm destined to lose, then I just lose. But at least it happened fast. Nobody wanna play these kind of matches too long. So this system will, I think, definitely help improve like game, and it's something which can like help everyone. Like nobody wanna waste their own time. Blizzard's servers don't eat that much electricity, and it'd be something better for everyone. The second way how these encouragements will be used is basically for another thing which I mentioned, and that is the fact all players play the same way, which for me it's extremely boring because if if I play, let's say, against mage, if I play against a mage, then what happened? Well, basically, what happened if I play against mage? There is a really high probability the first card which mage play in his first round is this card or this card or this card. These three cards are most frequently used cards by mage, traditional mage. There are also these mech mages, which I never understand why they even exist because I don't feel like there is any specific mage slash mech mech card which seems to be like super good. I don't know why people playing this, but I guess they have some reason. Maybe I'm missing something here. But my point is, if I play against mage, then most likely first card which mage used in the first run is this, or this. Card which mage used in the second round is most likely this, or this. But usually this or this. Then we have another card. This card is really frequently played. This card is frequently played. This card as well. And from there, there is some alterations. Like this is really frequently used card. My point is, I don't think I need to explain all of this because I believe most of the players realize what I'm talking about. The basically point is, mage plays almost exactly same time. But really, there are some slight alterations, slight changes, but the 90% of mages playing exactly same way. There are a few minions which give you benefit for your spell, such as spell damage, or do something similar, such as reduce the cost of your spells, or I don't know, do something else, such as freeze your enemies, or something like this. I know this is effective strategy. I understand this concept, but the problem is, it's not fun. At least not for me. I mean, maybe somebody don't care, but I do care. I'm so tired to play against mages, which every time when I playing them, they almost every time looks like this. Can you see that? That's exactly what I said. This is pretty much prototype of the mage. This is exactly how typical mage work, and it looks exactly this way. And I'm so tired of this. I'm so annoyed. I'm so frustrated seeing mages basically playing this way every single time. This is the game. It's supposed to be fun for everyone, not only for person who playing these days, but for everyone. And I'm so frustrated by this. Which bringing me back to my idea of encouragement points. How encouragement points can help to change the system? It's basically game calculate most frequently used card and reward every time I reward you with encouragement points every time if you use card which isn't this frequently used card. Basically giving player reasons play different way, encouragement them use some other cards which basically are not these like overused type of strategies, because if there is such a system, people have more reasons to play some creative decks. And as I said, as I show in my card hearts deck maker series, I have inspired mage, which is completely different than a traditional deck. I have a secret mage, which isn't such a new thing, but I don't think there is too many people who have secret mage, which is so dedicated this sake of this by using of a secret, or my summon mage, which is also very different. Let me show you to do some quick remind you how this deck work. Basically, I can't summon mage because it's focused on getting basically minions, not directly through the minions, but more with the with the with the use of cards. For example, this card is a really great card, and yet I see it's used to be used a lot, but these days there really is not too many people who actually using this card. Does this mean this card is bad? I don't think so. I think it's a great card, but people don't using this card. Why? Because it's just not as much used. The same goes with this card. This card also be used more than it's used today. And there's simply some cards which are not used too much, despite the fact they are not that bad. They are actually pretty good. But this card, for example, is a great card, but there is so very few people using it. So basically, encouragement points can help to fix the situation. Basically, giving the people reason use some other cards which are not used as frequently. If you want to be able to take advantage from that system and combine the reward for fast play and don't using these most frequent cards frequently, if you combining this, then you need to play about 2.5 the games, and you even don't need to win. You even don't need to win, which is a great aspect of this. And you are already rewarded with the classic pack, which I think is really useful. And I'm pretty sure this system basically solving only these two problems and this is the only thing which is due. But at the same time, there might be even more. Basically can be even more things which can you do with the system. I only suggest two specific problems which this system can work because simply, as I said, you we have a free will, and thus you cannot tell people, "Hey, don't play these cards because everybody using." And there is this one guy who don't like this. You cannot do that because they don't do it. They just wanna play same way as they used to. But Hearthstone is the game where there is so many cards, and you can be really creative. You can find all kinds of really cool interaction. For example, if you wanna play deck which is highly dedicated to pirates, and obviously the best way to do it is rogue. I think rogue is currently best deck for playing pirates because there's many specific pirates cards which are dedicated. But at the same time, another class which is really good is warrior. But basically, because pirates have this weird relationship between weapons and pirates. That's the reason why warrior and rogue are class which is plays most this way. But technically, any class with a weapon can play pirate and be really good with that. Even if you have some really specific cards class specific thing which is necessarily dedicated to pirates, there are some class which are not necessarily pirate related, but because they are spells, they are kind of universal. They are multi-purpose. For example, for example, I recently saw. That's actually not that long time. I actually saw one person who played pirates as a paladin, and I was completely surprised by this. I was like, "Oh my god! I never expect anything like this." This deck was not necessarily perfect. I think it needs a little bit of polish, and there is not any cards which give a paladin specifically support for pirates as like let me give you a specific example. For example, we have a rogues, and okay, here is this card, which basically giving you which is basically pirate card, which giving you specific benefit. You can play this card only as rogue, and no other classes can do this. There is few more cards such as this. We have another pirate, and this is not pirate. I'm sure there's more pirates here. Let's see. Pirate. Wait a minute. This is pirate. So yeah, there's many really specific cards which are pirates, which are specifically for rogues. So Paladin basically don't have anything like it. But but you have lots of buffs. And buffs they are not pirate specific, but they are universally useful. So if I go and search pirates, if I go and specifically use search for pirates, then you can see we have rogue, we have warrior, but there's also lots of pirates which are neutral cards. Okay, there's actually lots of neutral pirates. So let's see. This card, for example, can be used for paladin because it has charge if you have weapon equipped, and paladins have weapons, so this can be used without problem. This card can attack equal to your weapon. So this card also can be used this way. This card is also universal. And this card also be really nicely used. Your weapon cost one less. Give weapon +1/+1. So yeah, there's quite a few pirates. That is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. And this, and this are not unique cards. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 6, 8, 10, 12. So if I count correctly, that is 14 cards, which is enough to fill half of your deck, and there is actually a huge range variety in terms of these cards. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. That is really smooth transition. That is enough to build a decent pirate deck, and even if there is not too many like cards which are necessary specifically designed for power for pirates, then you can still fill the rest of your deck with the obviously weapons. So we have this. We have where is more weapons here? We have True Silver Champion, which with this weapon that one card costs basically for free, which is a genius idea. And there's like probably more, I believe. Let's see. We have this. There's another weapon. We have this. We have this. So there is definitely some potential to make basically pirate paladin. And even if you like missing some cards, you can simply like fill rest of your deck with some cards which is cards like this one. Because buffs they are simply universal. They are not necessarily bound to pirates, and they don't necessarily have any like direct interaction, but they are universal. So when somebody play paladin pirate, this is something which is completely possible. It's probably have not as much interaction as a rogue pirate or warrior pirate, but it is still possible. So this is something which I wanna see this kind of feature encouragement point, because it can encourage people to play game different way. And as I said, there is only two like possible use how this system could be utilized, but there is actually more way how these encouragements can be used, because with a system like this, Blizzard can encourage people like do many different things. For example, there is this new way to play, which basically create a difference between wild and standard. And I have a feeling like Blizzard really want the people. I think it's Blizzard really badly wanna play people the playing basically standard and not wild, because I guess with so many cards it's difficult to balance them, which I believe somebody say actually in Blizzard. But for me personally, I really don't care standard. I remember when standard was a thing. There was these two really special quests, which basically you all gods deck if you win X number of wins with the standard deck, which I did, but I never touched a standard since then, and since then I always play the wild. You can see my previous videos, I always play the wild. But if this is something which Blizzard want, then and use this encouragement system, they actually can encourage people to play standard instead of wild. And as I said, there is much more things which you can do with this system. Basically, every time when players start to do something which developer of the game don't like, then because they have free will, they can do that, and they most likely will do that. But if you have the system of encouragement, well, then you cannot like change their mind for real, but you can give them the reason why they should do this. I think I suggest only a few like possibilities how this encouragement points can be used in the game, but I believe there is much more potential with something like this. It is only idea, it is only a concept which I have, and I believe there is much more use for this. And yeah, this is basically the thing which I wanna talk today. So I know I kind of do a lot of siding and I talk about lots of things which giving basically people example, and I know it's could be a little too much for some people. And if you think I talk too much, I'm really sorry, but I have lots of things to say because as I said, there was a lot of criticism on my side for Hearthstone. But despite what some people may thinking, I really don't hate this game. I love this game. I love it. I wanna play it. But the problem is there is just some things which I believe are wrong. And I basically, if I don't like point them and say this is wrong or this can be done better, then Blizzard have basically no the idea there is something which is wrong. So I really don't wanna like throwing some dirt on the game. I really like it, but this is the reason why I don't only every time just do some criticism and instead trying once for a while like suggest a solution or way how things could be done different way. So yeah, that was probably a longer video than I expected, and that wasn't too much thing. I just like giving examples, suggesting things, and being like really um, like speculating and doing some things. But I hope I make my point here, and if even if there be like only few people who really understand why I did this video and understand my point, then I think this video served its purpose. So if anyone have a feeling like what this idea is about, then let me know in the comment section or do your own video if you have your channel. It's up to you, but I think there is lots of potential. So encouragement system will be something which I can definitely help improve the game because it's can kind of bend of a way how people play and make it better game for everyone. I believe this is something which basically help this game and yeah. So I really want to know your opinion about this. What do you think? Do you think like fuck that people play the same way all the time is the problem? Do you care? Do you don't care? Let me know in comment section if you like are interested about this topic. I really wanna know opinion of the other people, what they think about this, and do you think this encouragement point system will help or not? Because I believe that is a big potential and it can actually help the game. So As I said, this video is probably longer than I planned, and if I waste some of your time, then I'm sorry, but I have a few things which I really want to say. And yeah, next time probably play more. Continue my next videos will be probably more Half-Life 2 because I wanna finish the whole thing. So if you like not just Hearthstone but a Half-Life 2, then I'm currently doing Let's Play of Half-Life. I'm currently in episode 1, so feel free to check this. And obviously, after a new expansion will be released, and will be more broken cards videos. So this is something we definitely coming because I'm sure there is some cards which are really broken. So yeah. Anyway, this is everything which I wanna say today. So thanks for your time as always, and I will see you later.